came home from school last Monday to an empty house, just like always. I've never really had friends, and I've never tried to change that. Silence was comfortable for me. Predictable. Safe. I grabbed some snacks, opened my laptop, and started watching anime. Hours passed without me noticing. The room slowly darkened around me, until the screen became the only light in the house. Eventually I got bored. I remembered my classmates constantly talking about the dark web, the strange videos, the hidden sites, the things you weren't supposed to see. Curiosity got the better of me. I decided I would look for it myself. After searching online, I learned normal browsers couldn't access it. I downloaded a special browser people recommended and even installed a VPN because every article warned about staying anonymous. At the time, it felt exciting, like stepping somewhere forbidden, but harmless. At first, it was just disturbing forums, people discussing things that sounded unreal, cannibal groups, strange role-play communities, pictures that felt deeply wrong. I kept scrolling even when my instincts told me to stop. Then I found live streams. Some titles looked fake, like staged horror shows. One caught my attention. I clicked it without thinking. The video opened to a dimly lit room. A man sat tied to a chair in the center. His head hung low, blood dripping slowly from his wrists onto the floor. Beside him was a table covered with tools, hammers, knives, axes. Then someone walked into frame. He wore a long, beaked plague doctor mask and held a knife already stained dark. I waited for it to look staged, for the victim to laugh, for someone to yell, "Cut." Instead, the masked figure picked up an axe. The first strike split the silence. I didn't understand what I was seeing until it was too late. The man didn't move afterward, but the attacker kept swinging again and again until the screen became nothing but movement and red. The sounds were real, horribly real. I slammed my laptop shut. My hands were shaking. I tried to close the browser. It wouldn't close. The page refreshed and redirected me to another site filled with rows of videos. Each looked connected, like episodes in a series. At the bottom row, I recognized the victim. First, a normal photo of him outside. Then, one of him walking down a street. Then, him sleeping. Then, the video I had just watched, uploaded moments ago. My stomach dropped. A new row appeared beneath it. The first thumbnail was me. I was sitting in front of my laptop, staring at the screen in the same clothes I was wearing right then. Before I could react, a notification popped up. "We see you." My laptop powered off on its own. For 3 days, I barely slept. Every sound in the house felt louder. Every shadow felt closer. Then one night, my phone buzzed. Someone had sent me a video. It showed me asleep in my bed, recorded from beside me. My body locked up. I couldn't even breathe. At that exact moment, heavy footsteps ran out of my room into the hallway. I turned on the lights and grabbed my phone, trying to call for help. No signal. The house phone was dead. The wire had been cut. The front door had a padlock I had never seen before. Before I could react, something grabbed my hair and dragged me backward. I was pulled into the basement, thrown onto the floor, and tied up. Through blurred vision, I watched him set up a camera and flood the room with light. The same mask. He raised a weapon, and the pain exploded through my body. I screamed until I couldn't breathe anymore. He adjusted the camera carefully, like this was routine, like he had done it many times before. I realized I wasn't being attacked. I was being recorded. Everything started fading as the pain overwhelmed me. Then I heard crashing upstairs, voices, footsteps running down the stairs. Police officers stormed in and tackled him before he could finish. Neighbors had heard the noises and called for help. I woke up in a hospital days later. They told me he was a serial killer they'd been searching for, someone who filmed his victims and uploaded the videos online. I was the only person who survived him. Sometimes I still think about that moment, the notification on my screen, because the video of me sleeping had been sent before he attacked me, which means he had been inside my house long before I ever noticed. People always say, be careful what you wish for. I never understood that until it was too late. My wife Selena and I had been married for almost 5 years. We met at work. I was her senior, and somewhere between deadlines and coffee breaks, we fell for each other. A few years later, I got promoted and had to relocate. Selena left her job to move with me. I knew she hated depending entirely on my income, but she never complained. She tried finding work in the new city for months. Nothing worked out. Slowly, I could see frustration building inside her. She was stuck at home, alone all day, while I was at the office. Then, one Sunday afternoon changed everything. I was on the balcony when I overheard her talking to her friend Kayla on the phone. I only caught Selena's side of the conversation, laughing, then awkwardly refusing something, warning her to be careful with those kinds of websites. After she hung up, curiosity got the better of me. Kayla apparently earned money online from men who paid to chat with her and request private photos. Selena found it weird. I found it interesting. An idea formed in my head. What if she made an account but never used her real photos? We could just download pictures from the internet. The followers would think it was her. She'd earn money. Nobody would get hurt. At least that's what I told myself. She hesitated at first, but eventually agreed. I created the account, uploaded a few suggestive images of some random girl, and we waited. The growth was insane. Within 3 weeks, she had over 2,000 followers. Men paid just to talk to her. Some begged. Some offered ridiculous amounts for photos. Sometimes we even laughed at them together. Then, one night, Selena suddenly recoiled from the laptop. Some user kept sending disturbing messages and strange pictures. I told her to just charge him for a photo. He'd probably disappear. Instead, he paid immediately. The moment he saw the picture, he replied, "This isn't you. I want the real you." Selena panicked. I took the keyboard and tried to play it off casually. Then he sent another message. "Let me talk to your wife. I'm not interested in her husband." My stomach dropped. Before we could react, the screen glitched and our webcam turned on by itself. A video call opened. At first, there was darkness. Then a figure slowly stepped into view. An old man. He wore a filthy pink dress, braided pigtails, smeared lipstick stretched across a crooked smile. Selena screamed. He ran his fingers across the camera lens like he was touching her face. I tried shutting the laptop. Nothing worked. He started laughing. Then he dragged something into frame. A woman, bound, gagged, crying. "Kayla." We froze. He calmly shaved her head while staring at us through the screen. When I reached for my phone, he screamed that he'd kill her if we called the police. We believed him. After tormenting her for several minutes, he leaned close to the camera. He didn't want Kayla. He wanted my wife. Then The screen went black. 2 days later, someone pounded on our door in the middle of the night. I grabbed a baseball bat. Selena held a knife. When we opened it, Kayla collapsed onto our porch, beaten, barely conscious, as a black van sped away into the darkness. The police took her statement. She'd been kidnapped outside a supermarket. They still haven't found the man, and every night since then, I feel like someone is watching our house, waiting, because before the screen went black, he said he'd see Selena soon. Back in high school, I became obsessed with shopping. Not normal shopping, desperate shopping. Like most girls my age, I cared about clothes and boys, but mostly clothes that would make boys notice me. There was one in particular, a rich prep kid who only acknowledged people wearing brand-name outfits that cost more than a teenager could earn in months. Looking back, I don't even remember why I liked him so much. He wasn't especially kind or interesting, just rich, good-looking, and completely out of reach. But at the time, that was enough to make me stupid. I wanted limited edition clothing, the kind people camp outside stores overnight for. The kind that sells out instantly. The kind he wore. I didn't have the money, and my parents definitely weren't funding that obsession. So I searched online resale sites, hoping to get lucky. No chance. Everything was resold for ridiculous prices, sometimes even higher than retail. I was about to give up when I remembered something I'd once read. Stolen items were sometimes sold cheaply on the dark web. Curiosity overpowered common sense. I downloaded a Tor browser and went searching. I did find the clothes, but they were barely cheaper, and some had stains I didn't want to think about. I was ready to close the browser when an ad appeared in the corner of my screen. Credit card information, starting at $25. The idea felt insane, but also simple. Buy the card. Use it online. Problem solved. I convinced myself it was harmless. No one would know. No one would get hurt. I bought $25 worth of Bitcoin and purchased a stranger's card information. I'll call him John Doe. John Doe was rich. I spent over $10,000 without maxing the card. Shoes, jackets, accessories, everything I'd ever wanted. Even after the boy ignored me for a richer girl, I kept going. The thrill became addictive. I never shipped anything to my house. Instead, I used the address of an abandoned home in my neighborhood. It looked empty but believable. I could squeeze through a small back window and wait inside until deliveries arrived. Every package felt like winning a lottery. For a while, everything worked perfectly. Then, one afternoon, while waiting for an expensive jacket, someone knocked on the door. I froze. At first, I thought it was the courier, but they didn't leave. The knocking turned into pounding. Then a voice shouted a name, John Doe. My stomach dropped. Whoever was outside had tracked the purchases to this address, and they thought I was him. I stayed silent on the dusty couch, too scared to move. Then a deafening gunshot blasted through the front door. A vase exploded beside me. I didn't think. I ran. I jumped through the back window and sprinted down the street while more shots echoed behind me. I didn't stop until I reached home. Days later, I saw a news report. A man named John Doe had been murdered, killed by the mob for stealing money. I never went back for the jacket. I never used the dark web again. And I never forgot how close I came to dying for clothes I didn't even want anymore.